الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله وسلم على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. Inshallah ta'ala, we continue from where we left off. We are still studying this chapter which has to do with inheritance. Causes of inheritance and the legal inheritors. Inheritance is the transfer of the legal possession of a deceased person to his heirs, according to the laws of inheritance ordained by Allah. So this is basically the definition of inheritance. And there are three causes of inheritance. The reason for inheritance. The first, blood relationship. A blood relation refers to the relation between two persons by birth, rather than by marriage. Your blood brother, blood sister, and the like. No matter how far or near the relationship is, as long as nothing or none blocks them from receiving their prescribed shares. Because in certain situation, the heirs, certain heirs can be blocked. I will give you a scenario. Man dies and he leaves a wife and a son. Okay? He leaves a wife and one son. And he leaves behind 3 full brothers and one uncle. Then the wife gets 1/8 and the son gets 1/7. So basically, the son gets the majority. What happened to the full brothers? They're blocked. Who blocks them? Anybody knows who blocks them? The son blocks them. Because the son is the closest to the deceased. You see? But if it was the case with the daughter, it will not be the case. The daughter will get 50%. She will get 50 of the property. If the man did not leave sons, he left a daughter. So the daughter gets 50%. And then the rest is divided among the 3 brothers, and the uncle is blocked by the 3 brothers. You get it now. I will repeat again. In the first scenario, you have the wife and the son. It doesn't matter if the son from the first wife or second wife. It doesn't matter. Let's say he was married to the first wife. She gave birth to a son, and she passed away. Then he gets remarried to another wife, right? And then he passes away. Then the second wife survives with the son, the 4 brothers, and the uncle. Then the son gets the majority, 1/7. And the wife gets 1/8. The 3 brothers, the 4 brothers of the deceased are blocked by the son of the deceased.
What do you mean?
They will not inherit.
From the deceased man. His brother.
They will not inherit from him.
So basically,
You understand?
When you say 1/8, meaning
Of the share.
what about the other 7/8?
1/7 goes. The rest goes to the son. You understand?
Yeah, maybe I didn't understand that term. Okay.
Inshallah, as time goes by, you will understand. Because we just started, it's new. The other scenario, he did not leave a son, he left a daughter. The daughter does not block the 3 brothers, the 3 full brothers. She does not block them. You understand? The daughter gets 50%, 1/8 goes to the wife, the rest goes to the 3 brothers. The uncle does not inherit because he is blocked by the 3 brothers.
All the 3 brothers.
The 3 brothers block him. Inshallah, as time goes by, we will study more, inshallah. The Shaykh, he said, Rahimahullah ta'ala, Hafidahullah, may Allah preserve him. He said, as long as nothing or none blocks them from receiving their prescribed shares. There are things also that can block a person from receiving their shares. Like what? Beside what I mentioned, there are other reasons. What? What is it?
Well, one is if you take someone who's adopted, not really adopted, who's in your care,
Yes.
he doesn't get.
He does not get. An adopted child does not get inheritance from the deceased. You understand? Like, okay, we have a man and a wife. She could not bear children. They needed to have children. So what they did, they adopted some children from Syria or Yemen or wherever the case may be. And they adopted them as their children, even though those children, they know these are not their biological parents, right? Okay, if they die, if the parents die, can those children inherit from them? They cannot. You understand? Because they are not biological children. Very good. Another case scenario, a child out of wedlock. Okay? A child out of wedlock cannot inherit from the man who fornicated with the woman. Okay? He cannot inherit from the man who fornicates from the woman. Because he is not considered his dad. He's not considered his dad. طيب? Now, there are 2 opinions on the scholars. And I'm going to mention these 2 opinions. That way this thing is clear to you, inshallah. Now, if the woman is married and she commits zina, she fornicates with a man, and then she gets pregnant from that, then according to the hadith of Prophet ﷺ, that the child belongs to the husband, not to the fornicator. The child belongs to the husband, because the origin, the woman is married. طيب. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Al-walidu lil-farash. The child belongs to the husband. طيب. Now, in the case the woman was not married, she committed zina with a man, she fornicated with a man. Then she had a child from that man that fornicated with her. Now, majority of the ulama, including the 4 imams, they say that this majority of the ulama, Sheikh bin Baz, Sheikh Uthaymeen, Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan, many other scholars, they say that this child does not belong to the man who fornicated with the woman. It does not belong to him. The child belongs to the lady. Belongs to her. So he can call her mommy and the like, but he cannot be attributed to the fornicator. There is another opinion, which is the opinion of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn al-Qayyim, Shaykh Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymeen, and there are some opinions from the Tabi'een, from the scholars of the Tabi'een, Muslim ibn Yasar, Ibrahim al-Nakhai and others, Ibn Sirin and others. They mention that as long as the fornicator claims the child is his. Okay, now if we say the child is his, he inherits. If we go by the second opinion. If we go by the first opinion, the opinion of the majority, then he does not inherit. طيب? Another scenario, what about foster children? You know, foster children, right? Can they inherit or not? No, they don't. They do not, they cannot inherit. They cannot inherit. A foster child cannot inherit from his foster mother or foster father.
What if that person mentioned that in their will? Like,
In a will, he can.
he cannot, or
No, will, he can. In a will. Even from the non-Muslim. Even from the non-Muslim. If you read a will, like a non-Muslim, it happens a lot. Like the children become Muslim, the parents, they don't become Muslims. So in that case, if the father, before he passes, he writes a will. I want to give a gift to my son, my Muslim son, this much. It's permissible in that case, because it's not considered inheritance. It's a gift. It's a gift. So a gift is different than the share that you get by the law of the land. Now, yes. طيب. The Shaykh said, Allah exalted be He says, and another thing I want to add, those who cannot inherit, the people who apostate from the religion of Islam. Allah protect us. So those who leave Islam, they cannot inherit. Because the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا يرث الكافر المسلم ولا المسلم الكافر. The disbeliever cannot inherit from the Muslim, nor can the Muslim inherit from the disbeliever. Now, so Allah be exalted be He says, but those of blood relationship are more entitled to inheritance in the decree of Allah. Those of blood relationship, like your brother, your sister, and the like, are more entitled to inheritance in the decree of Allah. Surah Al-Anfal, ayah 75. Blood relationship include the forefathers, the offspring, the collateral relatives. The paternal forefathers includes the father of the paternal grandfather, and so forth, in descending lineage, who are linked through males to a common ancestor. The offspring includes the son, the grandson, by the son, and so forth, in descending lineage. The collateral relatives include the brothers and their children, no matter how far down they descend, as well as paternal uncles, sons of paternal uncles, cousins, and so forth, in a descending lineage. So this is the blood relations. Second, marriage. The marriage must be according to a correct, valid contract of marriage. So the contract has to be valid. In other words, if it's not valid, they will not be able to inherit. Like, some scenarios of incorrect, invalid marriage contract, like what?
What people do nowadays is halala.
Yes.
Nikah halala.
Yes.
That's permissible.
Yes, exactly. And can you be more specific?
So a woman gets divorced from her husband.
Yes.
She wants to marry her first husband again, but she has to be a divorcee to marry her first husband.
So she hires somebody to marry her, and that way it's haram. Yeah, this is haram. طيب. So if that man dies, she cannot inherit from him. Or she dies, he cannot inherit from her. You get it?
Scam nikah.
Yeah, scam nikah. Another scenario, ikhwan, if a man married a woman while she is still in her iddah. Okay? I'll give you an example. A woman got divorced from her husband, and she was waiting for her iddah, and she was very impatient, And then she started looking online. She found somebody. And she said, I don't want to wait. Let's get married. So they got married before the iddah was done. They consummated the marriage. They did all that. Waliyadu billah. May Allah protect us from that. So in this case, the nikah is batil. Batil means it is invalid. The nikah is invalid. It's very important for us to know. طيب. Likewise, if someone got married to a lady while he was in a state of ihram, while he was in a state of ihram, so he is like performing umrah or hajj, so he's in that sacred state, and he did a contract with a woman. The contract is invalid. The contract is invalid, and if something was to happen, the man dies or the woman dies, there is no inheritance for them. Because the nikah itself was invalid. The nikah was invalid. This is very important for us to know. These are some scenarios. These are some scenarios. Or that a Muslim woman marries a non-Muslim. طيب? Marries a non-Muslim. The nikah will be invalid. Will be invalid. طيب. The Shaykh, he said, even if there is no consummation and the two spouses have not yet met in privacy, as long as there is a contract, they did not consummate the marriage, meaning there was no sexual intercourse. Let's be clear. There was no sexual intercourse. Rukhsati, right? You say rukhsati, right? Okay. You say rukhsati in Bangla. طيب. I know in Urdu and Hindi they say rukhsati. طيب. There was no consummation of the marriage. They did a contract. The wali was there, the guardian was there, the two witnesses were there, right? Both of them, they agreed. He gave her the dowry, and both of them gave mutual consent that there were two witnesses to witness that. Then after that, the husband dies. The woman can inherit from him because she's considered his wife. So the Shaykh is telling you, even if they did not consummate the marriage, and even if he did not have a chance to be with her, privately with her, because she is still considered his wife, even if they did not consummate the marriage. The fact that they wrote the contract, that's it. That is enough. This is very important for us to know. So those who would like to make notes, they can make notes. Those who have good memory, then alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you. The Shaykh, he said, and the two spouses have not yet met in privacy. In privacy. This is due to the statement of Allah, exalted be He. Allah says, and for you is half of what your wives leave if they have no child. So you get half of what they leave if there is no child. In other words, if there is a child, you don't get half. But if they have a child, for you is 1/4. You get 1/4 if there is a child of what they leave after any bequest. Bequest, which is wasiyah. And wasiyah, that's what you asked about earlier, the will. After the bequest is executed. They may have made or debt, or they may have some debt. They may have some debts. And for them, the wives is 1/4. For them, the wives is 1/4. So let's say there is more than one wife. Do they get 1/4 each, or they share 1/4? They share. نعم. طيب. The two spouses inherit from each other according to the aforesaid verse, and also in the case if a revocable divorce is pronounced as long as the woman is still in the waiting period. طيب. Here, revocable divorce. What is a revocable divorce? Revocable divorce, طلاق رجعي. طلاق رجعي. What does revocable mean? Mean that it's not finalized as a final divorce. Okay. If a man divorces his wife the first time, and she was going through her iddah, the husband dies during that period, but her iddah was not done yet, she inherits from him because she is still considered his wife. But in the case of khula', it's a different scenario. Okay? It's a different scenario when it comes to khula'. Because al-khula' comes from who? The wife. The woman, yeah, the wife. So if the woman cannot tolerate the man, or she fears she cannot fulfill his rights, and she wants to get out of the marriage contract, she wants to nullify the marriage contract basically. So she asks the man to release her. Say, grant me khula', because I cannot fulfill your rights. Or I'm not attractive to you, or we're not compatible, or the like. So she gives him back the dowry. She gives him back the dowry, and he grants her the khula'. Okay, the minute he grants her the khula', is she still his wife or not? She's no longer his wife. Something was to happen to him, he dies. And then she goes to the court. She said, this is my husband. The qadi, the judge, he would say, did he divorce you? Or was it khula'? She would say it was khula'. You say you got nothing, because you're no longer his wife. But in the case of talaq is different. You see, the talaq, the first one, that's why the Shaykh said revocable. Revocable means it's a talaq that you could take your wife back. طيب? So the first time you divorced her, during the period you took her back, she's still your wife. Or her period expired and then you wanted to take her back, then you have to do what?
If it's been 3 to 4 divorces?
No, I'm talking about the first one.
Wait one iddah and take her back.
No, her iddah was done.
Yeah.
What is he supposed to do if he wants to take her back?
He can just bring her home.
He cannot do it like that. He has to do everything all over again.
Even if it's one divorce?
Even if it's one divorce. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. The man divorces his wife. Of course, she stays with him in the house, right? Yeah. She beautifies herself. She cooks for him. Everything, right? Then she waited the first cycle. He did not take her back. Second cycle, he did not take her back. The third cycle, and he did not take her back. Is she still his wife? She's no longer his wife now.
He can take her back though.
He can take her back if he wants to, but with a new contract now. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but if he took her back during the iddah while she was waiting for her cycle to end, she's still his wife. And he doesn't need to do a new contract. You got it?
I got it.
Now, if he died the last day of her iddah, okay? The last day, her iddah will be done, will expire. Can she inherit from him or not?
I can only guess. And yes.
Yes, she can. Yes, she can. Or she was pregnant and he passed away. طيب? Can she inherit from him or not? Yes, she can inherit from him because her iddah is to finish when she drops the load. You got it. When she delivers the baby, then the iddah is done for the woman who is pregnant. You get it? طيب. So the case of al-khula' is different because al-khula' is actually you dissolve the contract. The contract becomes null void. You cancel it out. طيب. Irrevocable marriage, irrevocable divorce is when a man divorces his wife 3 times. Okay? First time, then another month, 2 months, whatever the case may be, he divorces her again. And he took her back. And then he divorced her again later on. This is final. He can't take her back. Until, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, until she gets married and then divorces that husband. Then they're eligible.
By her own choice, not, somebody getting paid or something like that. طيب? نعم. So the Shaykh said, as long as the woman is still in the waiting period. For during the waiting period, the woman is still a legal wife. The phrase, the correct contract of marriage, excludes the incorrect contract of marriage. For the right of inheritance arises from only a valid contract of marriage. And the incorrect marriage does not affect the ruling on inheritance. Like, for example, incorrect, a man marries a woman while she is in her iddah. That marriage contract is null void. طيب. Or he married this woman after she apostated from Islam. May Allah protect us. Then the contract is invalid. طيب. Or he married a woman who was forced into getting married with him. Is the contract valid or invalid? Invalid. Because she was forced to marry against her will. طيب. The Shaykh said the third. The freed slave's loyalty by virtue of emancipation, like someone freed a slave. طيب. It is a relationship between the master and the slave, the freed slave, in which the former inherits any property. The latter may acquire due to the former's favor, done to the latter. The inheritance is from only one side, i.e., if the freed slave dies, the one who freed him inherits from him, and not vice versa. You got it? So now somebody was enslaved. So you come and you pay for his freedom. You pay for his freedom. So now he becomes free. You did a favor to him, didn't you? Alhamdulillah, you did a favor to him, that you freed him fi sabilillah. Now, if this slave had wealth and he passes away, you can inherit from him. But not the other way around. You get it? He doesn't inherit from you because you were the cause for him to be free by the will of Allah. So because of that, you get to inherit if he dies. Look at the beauty of Islam.
So if your former slave master dies,
No.
you can inherit from him.
You cannot inherit from the master, the one who freed you.
Okay. You can inherit.
But the master can inherit from the slave that he freed.
Okay.
You got it?
You got it.
So you must say, is it haram for you to give to the inheritor like different portion than the Quran?
It's haram. Yeah, because you have to go by what Allah said in the Quran. You cannot, like now, in some countries, may Allah protect us, they wanted to give, and they're giving actually. They changed the law of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now they're giving the son, the daughter, the same amount as the female. The male gets double share in Islam. And the female gets what? Half of that. So if the son gets $80, she gets $40. Right? But I want to ask you a question. Why is it that in Islam the son gets double? Why does he get double and the daughter gets half of that double? Can anybody? You students, you should know. Huh?
Take a wild guess.
Like why? Of course, we cannot question Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we want to just know the wisdom behind it. Like, why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the son, the man, the male, like yourself, gives you double of your sister? If you had a sister, you get double. Why is it that you get double? She gets half of the double.
Probably we could buy like more reasonable items and stuff in the system.
But like in what sense?
She might buy makeup or something, and then the male, he might buy like stuff.
No. تفضل.
I think because the male has more responsibility to it.
Yes, you are absolutely right. See, this is the correct answer. Because the male has more responsibility. Right or wrong? Who is the maintainer of the family? He's supposed to get a house for his family, food on the table, and all that, right? Make sure that they are taken care of. So that's why Allah gives him double. Not the daughter, because the daughter, her husband gonna come and take her. That's it. He already has a house for her. He has everything for her. You see. And she does not need to spend a dime, does she? No, she doesn't need to. And if she has a business on the side, let's say she has a business online. She makes money from that business. Can the husband take from that money? From her money? No, he can't. Yes, you're right. Because that's her money. He's still responsible to take care of her. Inshallah, we're going to stop here. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all beneficial knowledge and righteous action. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim.